Hello everyone. I'm going to take you through our holiday day meal kit. Not the eve of the holiday. But in order to do this, I'm going to crack a beer, do a shameless plug for some humble forager. We just dropped a new elevated perspective with Simcoe Mosaic and Vic Secret. Nice oak cream, double IPA. It's very rich, nice danky tones, and just like super crushable for an 8%er. So what we got here is the main attraction, these beautiful short ribs, which we got cut from the local butcher, Yield Butcher Shop here in Rochester. We're going to basically slow cook those in the oven for about 6 hours at 300 degrees until they're super tender, gonna fall off the bone, be absolutely delicious. What's gonna go on top of that is this awesome Burgundy wine mushroom sauce created by Chef Beet. He has a major affinity for cooking with mushrooms and it's gonna be fantastic. We also then have this kind of chopped up vegetables that we're gonna throw underneath it. It's got fennel, red peppers, onions, carrots, all the good things in there, which is gonna add like kind of a nice vegetable broth to that. So we're gonna preheat our oven to 300 degrees and get that cooking up. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys how to make these beautiful short ribs from Yield Butcher Shop. What we've done is we've just seared the outsides for you guys at Forager, so they're not straight raw meat. Pete seasoned them up nicely. And then we also got these delicious julienne vegetables from Lonnie over at Whitewater Garden. Some fennel, peppers, onions, carrots, some mushrooms in here. The mushrooms did not come from that water. So what we're gonna do is throw those in the bottom and we're gonna place our short ribs right on top. And what that's gonna do is kind of, once the fat renders out of these ribs, you are going to kind of get this nice vegetable broth, aromatics coming from all those in there. So we also have this really great demi-glace, which what we're gonna do is just pour some of this over the top to kind of get things going and concentrate flavors. So I'm gonna pour some of this over top of the ribs and let that kind of soak down in there. And I'm also gonna save about half of this so I can use it at the end to throw on top of some of the other dishes. So we gave you 4 of these ribs to start with, but because I'm just cooking for 2.5 tonight, we're just gonna cook 2 of them, and you can freeze up the rest, or if you're in the mood for a huge meal, depending on how many people you're having for your dinner, cook them all. Just throw them in this pot. What we're gonna do then, throw our lid on top. You're gonna take your plastic wrap that you got around the house, and you're gonna kind of make a very nice tight air seal around the edge of your pot. So we want everything to stay inside of there. We want none of that steam and moisture to escape. And this will keep these ribs super soft and tender throughout that cooking process. So I'm gonna wrap this kind of around, give it a good once over, rip her off there, press that down. Then we're gonna do the same thing with our aluminum, tin foil, whatever you want to call it. Run that around the edge, rip her down, crimp that down. And that should create a nice tight air seal inside your pot. Just use whatever you got around the house that will fit all of those vegetables, the ribs, and then a little bit of your demi-glace. We got our oven preheated at 300 degrees. I'm gonna pop it in there and set the timer for 6 hours. In about 2, you're gonna start smelling the absolutely delicious breakdown of those fats in that rib, and we'll start prepping some of the other food. See you in a bit. All right, so we've got an hour and a half left on the timer, which was set for 6 hours. So we're gonna uncover our maple sweet potato. Now we're gonna put that on the bottom rack underneath our roast, which is smelling delicious. Then we're gonna take these vegetables and I need to find our bacon. So I threw it in the fridge because it was a little while. So we're gonna grab the bacon. We're just gonna sprinkle this over the top of all these roasted veggies. So some of that fat comes out. We'll cook in that. But what I'm also going to do is dump a little bit of this demi-glace over top as well for a little extra moisture. This is maybe a pro tip of the week. You're still gonna want to save some, so don't use too much of it. Just a little bit of that demi-glace over the top. The final trick there is just a dash of olive oil too. We want to make sure that there's some good moisture in the bottom of this pan so everything roasts real nicely. So we'll take that, throw it on the bottom next to the sweet potatoes. We'll come back and check on that in about 1 hour. All right, so it's been 6 hours, and I want to give you guys a peep in the oven here. So what I did when there were 45 minutes left on this roast, I took our vegetables out of the deep pan, threw them onto like a shallow baking sheet, drizzled it with a little bit of olive oil, kind of tossed everything around just so you're getting a nice even cooking there and a little bit of caramelization. So everything's nice and warm. And there, kill the heat on the oven. We got this Burgundy wine mushroom sauce that we're gonna heat up now to go on the top of the short ribs. So as we heat this up, we'll kind of get everything else out of the oven and prepared. We're just gonna heat this at about a medium heat. And if you got a cover for it, throw that on top. It's gonna help everything melt down nicely. So, grab a couple hot mitts because everything's nice and warm in there. And we're gonna pull out our sweet potato mash. Throw that up here. Grab out the roasted veggies. And last but not least, our short ribs. Take off our tin foil around the outside. And if your saran wrap kind of sticks to the pan, that's fine. Once it cools down, you'll be able to peel it right off. But pop that off. Super nice and steamed in there. Everything's reduced down and caramelized nicely. And as you can see, that short rib's gonna fall right off the bone when you pull it out there. So everything's looking great. So we'll show you how to plate this up. All right, so we're gonna make a beet salad. Put your lettuce in a bowl. Dump on as much dressing if you like it lightly or heavily dressed. That's up to you. You're gonna toss it with some tongs. Just fold the dressing on. We all know how to make a salad, right? So, you've got your lettuce dressed. Trying to scoop it onto a plate. We've roasted the beets and sliced them, so it's up to you. If you like beets larger, feel free to lay them out on your platter. If you want to dice them up a little bit smaller bites, that is up to you. From this point, I'm going to sprinkle on our candied nuts and put on the Carbonara goat cheese. Sprinkle that around. And you know, if you've got something like an avocado lying around the house, you could add that for a little extra creaminess. But that would be our pro tip of the day. And you usually want to finish off your salad with a little bit of fresh cracked pepper. Voila. All right, so to finish it off, we're going to top these short ribs with this Burgundy wine mushroom sauce. Feel free to go quite liberally with it. It's absolutely delicious. All right. And what we got here is your completed meal, which is the roasted beet goat cheese salad, roasted vegetables, your beef short ribs with Burgundy mushroom sauce, the maple sweet potato, and finishing off with a holiday spiced fruited sweetbread with house-made whipped cream.